Hello everyone, I'm DonTheCrown, and if you're like me and a little bit tired of Path of Exile 2, can I recommend an alternative in Torchlight Infinite? It's another ARPG that is on the scene that I think is quite underrated, and in this video I'm going to go through and give you 10 reasons why I think that this is something you should check out, especially because we have a season coming up here on the 9th of January. I just do want to point out that this is not a sponsored video. This is just a video because I really like this game. It's probably my favorite ARPG right now, and I really do think that more people should come in and check it out. Now, the very first thing that I want to talk about is just how smooth and fast and just fun in general the gameplay is. This is definitely a game where they want you to go fast. It's pretty zoomy, and it takes you about like maybe 3 to 4 hours to get through the whole campaign. Now, another little thing about the game is there's a lot of little quality of life things that we're going to go through in the video here. However, one of the things you might notice is that when I'm picking up loot here, I don't actually have to click on it. I can just hold the A button down and run past the loot that I'm filtering out, and it's going to just pick up loot for me. And of course, I can have a loot filter and hide all the stuff, and it is pretty easy to set up, which we'll talk about in a little bit here. Now, before we get into the other positive things here about the game, I do want to address probably the two biggest complaints, which are the UI. And yes, the UI is a little bit mobile gamey, but really, especially after they have done an update here to the inventory and some of the other scenes, I think that the game just feels a little bit better. It feels very smooth on PC. And you kind of will just get used to the UI. I know that it bothered me, it bothered some of my friends, but now I don't even really notice it all that much. The second thing is that some people say this game is very pay to win, but I do know a lot of people, and it does definitely have some pay to win elements to it. However, you do not need to spend any money at all to really play the game and to enjoy it, and you can actually earn a lot of progression in the game in a lot of ways. The main thing is these little pack spirit pets that give you a little bit of advantage, and you can actually earn a lot of these just from playing the game. They give you a lot of free pools, a lot of free stuff, and unlike Path of Exile, where you literally cannot earn your way to getting a premium stash tab, you could play for 10 quintillion hours and never earn yourself anything in terms of stash tab. You can get all of the pack spirits just from playing the game. I know people that pull tons of good stuff every single season, so that's definitely a thing. Now, the second positive thing that I want to talk about the game, why you should check it out, is that crafting is pretty amazing in this game. And they recently did a big crafting rework for this, but the crafting is really just truly a lot of fun and is very deterministic with still some randomness to it. So every single piece of gear in Endgame here is going to have 3 prefixes and 3 suffixes, and pretty much have these different slots, and you can roll randomly into getting different modifiers on these slots, but you can pretty much continue to roll forever until you get the mod that you want at the tier that you want. So as you can see here, we're still working on this weapon here a little bit. I want to get my cold damage up here to tier 1. And there's even an auto crafting where I can go and select the mod and tier. And if I had any materials to craft right now, it would just keep crafting until I either hit the thing that I wanted or I ran out of materials, which is just really smooth, really easy, and it's very easy to understand what you want on your gear, and there's no random RNG and stuff like that for getting the perfect mods and stuff. You also don't have to rely on buying something off the auction house that somebody else crafted or found, and it's very, very hard combination. Things are very, very fair and very easy to kind of get into, and I think this crafting system is just a lot of fun. Now, that also brings up just trading in the game in period. And yes, there is an auction house right in the game where you can pretty much buy anything that you could possibly imagine. And it is pretty easy to just go out and find gear. You can go and find other stuff like maps or different legendaries and stuff. And it's just really quite easy to go through and find the things that you want to buy. And if you list stuff up in your auction house, in your booth, you'll be able to sell stuff even when you're busy running maps, go into the bathroom, sleeping, logged off. You don't need to even trade with anybody. It's just automatically through the auction house. And it's just very great. Probably my favorite thing to do is first thing in the morning is just to log in and go and collect all of the currency that I earned from sales while I was asleep and it just feels really nice. And it's also really easy for you to price check items as well. So if I find, like, for example, this, I could go and click price check and then select the appropriate modifiers. And I can see all of the stuff. I can even open this up as a trade search and go and look at all of the items that are available. And it's just really, really easy to kind of interact with trade. And it is also relatively easy to get into the end game and kind of understand what's going on in terms of the mapping system. There's definitely a lot of end game stuff for you to kind of work towards and do things towards. So there are multiple different like passive trees here that we can go and invest our points into, depending on the league mechanics that we want to play and mess around with. So we can do like Nightmare Tree. There's like a whole ton of different trees. Each of these buttons is basically one big tree that has a whole bunch of things. And they always add pretty much whatever the previous season mechanic is as a tree. So next season, there'll be a button right here for the current season mechanic. And we just have pretty much a whole bunch of different opportunities and ways to go and play the end game and to like farm the things that we want to farm and to like play the game that we want to play, which is a little bit different than PoE2 right now, where it kind of feels like you're pretty much just playing Breach, and that's basically your only option. And there's not really a lot of other wiggle room, maybe like going farming like Ultimatum trial or whatever. But yeah, I really do enjoy the fact that you can pretty much, there's a lot of different ways to make money in this game and kind of just enjoy and play. Also, if you know it's your very first time, if you wonder like, all right, so how do I find a build guide? How do I like know what to do? Well, what you can do is just click up here, click Pro Builds, Quick Builds, and we can see a list of a whole bunch of builds for my particular class. I can switch the class around and you see all of the different builds. Allow me to click on a character here and see exactly what their character was set up like at the time that they made this build. So even if they change their build, delete the character, all that kind of stuff, the actual full build will be right here with all of the information and stuff available. I can go and look at the actual gear, look at their actual passive points, all that stuff. I can actually even apply their passive points to my passive tree. And so I can see exactly, it doesn't work because I'm on a different character. We'll do this. I can go and apply the passive tree to my own character. So I can go and see exactly like where they're putting points, and it was different from what I did. And so it just makes it really, really easy to level up. And it's just very fun and easy to do. And also it is super duper cheap to respec all the way up to level 90. It is 100% free to respec your character. So if you want to change stuff around and test out different passive points or different things or even different trees, you have, you know, free reign to basically mess around and experiment with stuff. And even after level 90, it's not all that bad to respec either. And so it's just very, very easy for you to like make mistakes and yet recover from them super easily, which I think is great. Likewise, there's also a whole bunch of loot filters that you can download from other players and stuff. So you can see like other people's loot filters that they have published up for other people. As you can see here, like my loot filters up here, 9999 downloads plus with 277 people that favorited it. And it's just really easy to get this stuff without having to like go to some sort of third-party site and figure stuff out. You can even go through and edit and customize this for yourself after you have downloaded it yourself, if that's something that you want to do for your, you know, your particular build that you're doing. Also, right now, one of the big things that they did in the previous season that's going to be continuing into the next season is you can pretty much make any of the past hero champions that you want for free. You don't need to like pay to unlock them anymore. And so there's a whole mess of different heroes that you can play, and they're pretty much all going to be available. All the ones you see here are going to be available, even the one that was new this season. Also, another big thing for me, at least in ARPGs, is I like to know kind of like what to do. Like, how do I progress forward? What are my goals? These are like important things to know in the game, so you know what to be working towards, you know what to like kind of be, you know, moving towards with your whole build. And the path of progression here not only gives you goals, gives you things to work towards, but it gives you rewards for doing them, which is really great. So we get things like more XP, more drop quantity, more other drop quantity and stuff. And on top of that, we do get rewards, which are kind of like behind my head here, for finishing out these different tiers of things. And these are things that are going to like help you like pull some of the pack spirit pets, or just other things that are just like kind of like more account level rewards that you'll be able to keep basically forever. So if you're like, hey, I want to maybe jump in and try this game out right now, you can get through a whole bunch of this path of progression in the current season, get a whole bunch of rewards, and then on the 9th, the path of progression is going to reset again, get a whole bunch of rewards again, which I think is just really cool. Also, another great feature is there's a death recap. And so unlike PoE2, where sometimes I just explode and die, and I don't know why, I don't know what killed me, don't know what hit me, you can be able to see exactly what killed you in terms of the damage types and stuff in Torchlight here. Also, another thing I think that is very good is that these guys are very much on top of the ball when it comes to the launch. They typically do a patch every single day, fixing bugs, correcting stuff, and all that stuff, but they aren't nerfing builds left and right, which is probably something we're going to see a lot in the early access of PoE2. I'm a little bit nervous that my entire like Herald explosion setup is bound to get nerfed here. Breach is probably going to get nerfed. So a lot of the ways that we're like playing the game right now is kind of like a little bit in dread of what the next big nerf bat is going to be. And so it's not something we're really need to worry about here. And yeah, those are pretty much like my definite top tips. I really do enjoy this game. I think that there's a lot of good reasons here to play, which now you've heard some of them. And I think it's just worth your time and energy to take some time and check this game out. Like I said, it's like 3 hours to get through the campaign. And typically like by my first day of streaming, I'm like almost like level 90 and like going through the end game and blasting and having fun. And it really just is so much fun. I guess one thing I didn't mention is that like when you're going through and you're running maps, you don't like need to roll individual maps all that much. I can just like go to a region here. I pick the one that has a card that I want to go after. And when I want to go and roll my maps, I'm rolling like all of the maps for that card. So it's going to be like 4 maps that have all of the same modifiers. I can have all of the same compasses and stuff. And we just map, blast, blast, blast. And it doesn't really feel like you're going and stopping and dealing with your inventory after every single map, taking all this downtime. It really just is a lot of actually playing the game, which is great. And to give you like an idea, typically like on a 12-hour session, I might touch my stash, not this one, but this one over here, like 1 or 2 times. Like I don't need to go and store items in here. I don't have to store my currency in some sort of currency tab because I have an inventory tab that has all my currency. Any skill gems and stuff that I might pick up or, use or something, I have a stash tab for that as well. I also have a stash tab for all of like my map keys or compasses or divination cards. There's all space for that. So I don't necessarily need to actually go and like manage my inventory all that much because, it's very easy to do. And if I want to like actually scrap stuff, I'm like, I've identified everything. Most of this stuff here isn't something that I want right now. It's not very good for me. I can just go select all, recycle, confirm, and then sort my locked items because I can lock the items that I want to keep. And then we just go right back to doing our maps, which is just super duper fun. Really, guys, come check out the game. We'll be streaming it on the 9th. And thank you much. See you again soon. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Later.